Alright, people. We are back at you guys once again with another movie review.
Yeah, cowabunga!
This time around, we're going to be doing a full review on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 The Secret of the Ooze,
Oh yeah.
which was released, let's see here, March 22nd, 1991. Um,
Damn,
let's see.
that long ago?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. And I seen that at the theaters when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
And let's see, it has a budget of $25 million, and it ended up, the box office says $78 million, which is pretty good.
Damn, they tripled their money on that investment.
Yeah. I think the first one made far more money, though.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
dude, the first one was way more like serious.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
it had a great, I prefer that
but still,
tone.
out of all, I would say out of all the Turtles movies, Secret of the Ooze was actually probably my favorite one, honestly.
Right on. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 today. We'll go over a bunch of different things. And,
Yeah.
also, we'll talk about the production stuff, like what went on behind the scenes,
Oh, okay.
with the Turtles films. But yeah, I liked how the movie started off with everybody eating pizza.
Yeah, I remember watching that back in the day because I think I didn't watch it till I don't think I seen it in the theater, but I remember having a VHS copy of it.
Right.
And I remember every time I watched it, I felt like, man, in the beginning, I need to have a piece of pizza in front of me and eating it while you're watching the beginning of this movie.
Right.
Because
And
everybody in the beginning of the movie
was it?
is eating fucking pizza.
Yeah, and it looked really good too.
Yeah,
Had
but
huge slices and stuff.
yeah, but if you noticed, they were huge slices, but everybody was eating just plain cheese pizza. Like you
Yeah.
didn't see no toppings on it. Like you
Yeah.
might have seen like one that had like some pepperoni or something on it, but like
Right.
every piece of pizza I seen in the meeting was just like a big ass piece of just cheese pizza.
Right on. Yeah, and one of the main stars of the movie is Ernie Rice Jr.
Yeah, and he's one of the pizza delivery boys.
Yep. And so, yeah, it pretty much starts off with people eating pizza, and then
Yeah, and then he
at
goes
some
to
point,
Joe's Roy's pizza place, and
yeah,
that's
I liked how in the beginning, they have he's a pizza delivery boy, and they have him go to April O'Neil's house, but beforehand, he's like, which one of you ladies,
oh
wants
yeah,
to,
he comes out and there's like three girls standing there. He's like, "Hey, ladies, which one of you lucky girls gets to ride with me tonight?"
right?
And she's like, "Dream on, dweeb." He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, okay, but when I do, I'll dream of something a little thinner." He just like rides off on his bike, like.
Right. So he ends up encountering burglars.
Yeah, he pulls up and he's getting the pizza out, and he looks over and he sees the like two suspicious vans, like
Right, with all kinds of stuff.
yeah. So he's like, okay, something's not right here. So he walks in and he sees like guys, like I guess you could say they're wearing fucking pantyhose on their head.
Right. And there's a bunch of them too.
Yeah, well, he starts off with three, and
Right.
he's like, he's like, hold it, you guys are under arrest. And they're like, what are you, night security? And he's like, no, actually, I'm a pizza delivery. He's like, yo, come on, let's get him.
Right. He ends up kicking their asses pretty fast.
Yeah, he busts out all these like martial art kicks and sweeps, and
Right.
he tells the one guy's like, stay down. And he kicks him.
Right. And
He's just like, did I mention I studied martial arts?
right. And then that's when like a whole group of these guys.
Yeah, and he's standing there like, oh? He's like,
Yeah.
and then behind him you see the damn turtles all like run up and like jump over, and they do a freeze frame of
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Turtles, Secret of the Ooze.
Which is pretty cool. And they end up taking those guys on for a while.
Yeah, and some of the shit that they were doing was funny as hell.
Yeah.
Like there was a part where Donatello bumps into this clown, like thing that swivels, and he's just like pushing. I was like, yeah. And he just fucking like winds up standing on it and swiveling to get one of the bad guys' attention and fuck with them or whatever.
Right.
But eventually, yeah, like they kick all their asses and
yeah, one of the turtles puts Kino in a garbage.
He's like, "Sorry, kid, it's for your own good."
Right. And they end up getting their asses kicked, and he ends up telling Kino to go call the cops. We'll tie these guys up.
Yeah,
You know.
they're like, dude.
And they were like all bunched up together.
Yeah, it was funny right before that when they tell Kino to go call the police. Michelangelo comes up. He's like, yeah. It's a good thing we saw you coming in here from the roof. Like Leonardo comes up and kicks him like, "Hey, Mikey!" He's like, "I mean from across the street." And as soon as he says that, he gets thumped in the head by Raphael. And he's like, "Ow!"
yeah. It was pretty good. That fight went on for a little while.
Yeah,
I liked how he took the nunchucks, but they were like food. What he said.
Yeah, they were sausages. He's like, "Combat cold cuts."
Right. So yeah, they made it more comedy-ish.
Yeah, like, cause I mean, in the first movie, it was like
it was like a normal tone movie. You know, but this one was more goofy, but not over the top goofy.
No,
it was just it had its own coolness to it.
Yeah,
it's just like the Conan movies. Like the first one was serious, the second one it wasn't as serious, but it still had its own coolness to it. Same thing with like RoboCop. RoboCop had a serious tone. It was good. The second one not as good, but it still had its own.
And 3 just blew balls.
Right, but we're not even going to mention that.
Yeah,
but
it's not even a thought.
But anyways,
but yeah, getting back to Turtles 2, but so Kino runs off to
call the cops.
And then when he comes back, he sees all the guys are all like in a pile. And there's one guy hanging from like the roof, and he goes over and sees his pizza box, and the pizzas are gone. And
but they left the money for him.
Yeah, and he's just like looking like, wait, what? And that's when you're introduced to April O'Neil, who they changed the April O'Neil.
Yeah,
in this movie.
She got changed out, and we'll talk about as to why later on.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the first one you had Judith Hogg as the actress to play April O'Neil, and 2 and even was Paige Turco.
Right, and they also changed out the voice of one of the turtles.
Yeah, Donatello, who was voiced by, in the first one, it's funny, in the first one and third one, he's voiced by Corey Feldman.
In the second one, he's not.
Yeah, he's voiced by somebody different.
Right, which I thought sucked because it just, to me, it was alright, but it didn't fit. Corey Feldman was, I think, way better. And we'll also get into why after we're, done with the review, we'll talk about the production, because they talk about that, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But April has an apartment, and the Turtles live there. Mm-hmm. They're currently living with April O'Neil while they're looking for a new place to live.
And obviously they fucking trash her place because she comes in and she goes to open up the refrigerator to put groceries away, and she sees like this. She gets freaked out because there's like a big rubber snake in her.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh," this is like Michelangelo. And she picks up like some magazines, like Leonardo, grabs a skateboard, goes Donatello, and picks up another thing. It's like, and Raphael, the rat, is the cleanest one.
Right.
And she goes upstairs, and that's when you see the turtles like coming all hoot and holler, like, "Ooh, yeah, what a workout, dude!"
Right. And also at some point early on, they, at a junkyard where the Foot Clan and the second in command, Tatsu, are hiding out, they think that Shredder's, had died. and they all meet there, and Tatsu's, the guys are saying, the
our father gone.
right,
It will pay. I, Tatsu, now lead. Any who challenge, step forward.
and that's when Shredder steps forward.
Yeah, dude, that was. I remember watching that as a kid, and the part where he just pops up in the dark, he looks so fucking scary like that. When how he just pops up, it's like, I challenge.
Right.
And they're all looking at him like, oh fuck. I think even one guy is looking at him like, his face.
Right. So a lot of the Foot Clan got picked up, I believe, by cops, from what one of them said, but some of them still remained.
Yeah, he's like, because when they got to the junkyard, the one guy's like, asked him like, is this it? He's like, everybody else must have been picked up.
Yeah.
He's like, well, maybe they didn't find us. Hey, we all knew the junkyard was our fallback spot.
Right.
But one thing I was gonna say earlier when they got in the Aprils, forgot about the pizza scene.
Which one?
When they're all eating pizza, and Michelangelo's like, ninja pizza. And they're like, ninja pizza? Pizza that vanished quickly without trace.
Yeah.
And Raphael's like, yo, Mikey, toss me a ninja slice. Donnie, Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. They had those cool, funny moments during the movie.
Yeah.
And then
remember how Splinter would always, like, in that movie, he would what do you call it? If the turtles got out of line, he would say, "Hey, 10 flips now."
Right.
And they have to go stand against the wall and do like back flips.
Yeah, for getting out of line. And then at some point, April O'Neil, she interviews Professor Jordan, which is played by David Warner.
Yeah.
It says he's part of the Techno Global Research Industries, also known as TGRI, about a possible toxic waste leak.
Yeah.
He assures her that everything is fine, but their scientists secretly discover dandelions, which have been mutated by the leak.
Yeah, remember why that's going on? The turtles are watching, and they're all eating, and Raphael's like, yo, Mike, you think you could crunch any louder?
Yeah.
He's like, get out of this.
Right.
They want to change the channel, and Splinter's like, Raphael, do not change channel.
And then there's also a guy named Freddy, who's a spy for the Foot Clan, posing as April's cameraman.
Yeah.
He's the one that discovers
the dandelion.
Right.
He takes him back to Shredder.
He takes him back to Shredder and reports it.
All pissed off because he's like, this is not the reason why I sent you to follow her.
Yeah, but then he's like, but this is a better.
This mutation could be useful against my enemies.
Yeah.
Good scene, man. But
yeah,
we have that, and then back at April's, the turtles are trying to surprise April by cleaning up her house for her, and they're doing like funny bits, and Michelangelo's doing a scene from Karate Kid with these
right
scrubbers. He's like, wax on, wax off, wax on, and Raphael's like, mouth off.
Right. And at some point, this Jordan Perry, I guess he was getting rid of all of the Ooze canisters except for like one or two.
Yeah.
And then the Foot Clan end up grabbing them.
He got down to the last one, and he picks it up. He's like, you're the last one, aren't you? And when he turns to dispose of it, Tatsu and the Foot Clan are there to intercept it.
And they kidnap him.
The turtles get there. They learn from Splinter that, it says the canister, the canister said TGRI. And,
right.
And they go to the TGRI building and break it.
And they encounter the Foot, and there's another fight scene.
Yeah. They're trying to get the code for the active canisters. Like, can you bring up the file? And then they wind up crashing the computer, and the Foot
Right.
shows up and they fight. And it's kind of a funny ass fight scene. Like at one point, Donatello's got the canister. He's on a chair and he's just like rolling across the floor, and he's just like, "Hey, Mikey, search up, dude." And at one point, the Foot like drops a stick, and he's like, "Uh-oh," and he hits it, goes flying. Tatsu catches the canister, and he's like, "Ninja, vanish."
Yeah. They end up going, and then that's when I believe Kino goes to April's house. He wants to give her pizza,
Yeah.
and she didn't order any pizza, but he's like, well, you order a whole bunch anyways.
He's like, yeah, the guy in 314 did, but now he doesn't seem to be there. And that was funny. He sees the nunchucks. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
he's like, what? Yeah, they're mine. Hey, yeah, let me do a little chucking every now and then. And she's like, she's trying.
Yeah, she's trying to do it. She can't. She sucks. And he's like, yeah, I'd keep practicing.
Yeah, I keep practicing. Yeah, and then he sees
the Foot.
Foot sitting outside the thing. He's like,
yeah, oh, one more thing.
I might want you to know about this. I love Raphael. Like, after he gets stopped, like, oh, can I hurt him?
Yeah.
Please, tell me I can hurt him.
That's when he discovers Splinter and the Turtles.
Yeah, and he faints, and they tell him, he gives them their whole story about, like you learned in one, like, oh, when I found a storm drain, I gave them all names. And Michelangelo gets in trouble because they're saying their names, and Raphael says his. He's like, yeah, all the good ones end in O.
Yeah. And then, since Shredder has Perry, he's got him back in his hideout. Perry is forced to use the remaining ooze on Snapping Turtle and Wolf.
Yeah, which we learned is Toka and Razor.
Right, which are mutants, mutates them into, Toka and Razor.
Yeah, that was cool because...
Yeah, that was pretty cool, but he was going to kill them at first, but then he could see their power.
Well, when they first sees them, he thinks, oh, yeah, this is awesome. He's like, attack me if you will. When it is over, you will call me master.
Yeah.
And they pause, they're like, huh? Huh?
Mama?
Mama?
Yeah.
Oh, Mama.
Yeah.
And they're all like, okay, Shredder comes bursting out the door, and he's like, babies. They're babies.
Yeah. He was pissed off, and he wanted to, get rid of them.
Yeah, he's like, they're stupid. He's not stupid. They're infants. And he's like, okay, they're stupid infants.
Right. But then he sees them lifting like a truck up, or something.
Not a truck, it was like a front end loader.
Okay, yeah.
They're just picking it up like with ease, and Shredder's like, maybe I'll keep them around.
Yeah. The one guy, the professor, tells him, they can be useful. They got other good traits.
What you learn is that you learn later on that the ooze that transformed them, he had contaminated the ooze to make them like infants, so they would be far less dangerous in a way.
Right. And then at some point the Turtles actually start to look for a new home.
Yeah, but right before they go, when they get there,
they get down in the sewer.
Yeah, Michelangelo comes up to April's, like, gives him like an old movie reference, like, the lives of 2 men,
right?
Don't mean nothing. That's why you get on that plane. Maybe not today. And they're like, would you stop? It's like, ah!
Yeah. They go down there, and Raph ends up leaving. He doesn't like the idea.
Yeah, because he wants to go find the ooze. He doesn't want to, as quote unquote, play in Century 21. And
right. But they end up finding an abandoned City Hall subway station, which is awesome.
On total accident, because like Michelangelo's walking up ahead, and they're like, you think we'd find a new place would be easy. He's like, but no. It's like, you think
Right.
an idiot could find a place down here? He's like, but no.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the place was cool. I would love to live there, you
Yeah.
know,
And the fact they actually had power, like working power
and
and
everything.
stuff, but
Yeah. I mean, it was
you would
dusty
think,
as hell, but man, it
you
would have
would
been
think
worth cleaning up
though,
and being there, huh?
yeah, you would think though, running all that power and stuff down there, you would think somehow the station would have found out about it because people would be like, "Hey, why is there power running this station over here? I thought we closed that like 50 years ago."
Right. Well,
Yeah,
that's just a movie, so.
yeah, but
But
it was cool. It was an awesome fucking cool
sub.
ass place.
Oh yeah, that subway station was fantastic.
Yeah,
Big, open. You know, it's like, man, I would love to be there.
yeah,
You know, and then at some point, you know, Raphael wants to put Kino into the Foot Clan, but he defies Splinter's. Splinter tells him no, but he defies Splinter's orders,
yeah.
and so
Find out
they,
'cause
they want to find out where the hideout is.
yeah, you see Kino going up to the Foot Clan to get in.
Yeah,
Then when they take
yeah,
you see him meet up with Raph, he's like, just remember, get you in, find the Foot headquarters,
and get a,
get you out.
yeah. But before that, you can see an appearance by Michael Jai White. You know,
Oh yeah,
before they actually go in,
yeah,
the guy comes out. He says a few things. He asks him, "You got any questions?" He's like, "All right, come on." And then you see Kino beating the shit out of a bunch of guys.
yeah,
He's really good and fast. And then there's this one point where you got 15 seconds to pull off all these things.
yeah. He's
You
like,
and
yeah,
we
15 seconds. Remove any of the bells you
right,
can.
and we
One
work in
second.
silence.
We work in, no, he didn't say silence, like, we work in concealment.
Yeah, or yeah, that
Smoke bomb, and that's where Raphael jumps in. He grabs them all and fucking, like, here you go, Kino, see you.
right. And that's yep. He comes in, he puts all those things in his hands, and he's like, "Is this enough?" And the guy's like, "Wow,
Yeah.
yeah," which
Yeah,
is
then they go into the junkyard, and he's telling them, like, go find yourself a training doji and meet back in the yard. And
right.
he meets up, and
But that's when he meets up with Raphael, and again,
yeah, that's when they run across Tatsu, sees them, and
right, and that's when Raphael gets captured.
yeah, we're
While
looking for a '77 Chevy.
yeah,
Dude,
they fight for a little while. They fight the clan, but Raphael gets captured while Kino escapes to warn the others.
there was one funny scene in that fight scene that I thought was so funny. Raphael's got a headlock on one of the Foot Clan members, and every time this guy tries to hit him with a stick, he puts the guy up in his way, and he just clocks his other buddy
Right.
every time. Like, he's like, "Hey, nice shot. You're good."
Yeah, yeah. The fight scenes were pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know, and
he thought he was doing good until they just got the numbers game on him, and he's like, "I'm curious. Any of you guys ever heard the expression fair fight?"
Yeah, so Kino goes and gets the turtles, and when they come, they are, it says, they are ambushed by the Shredder and Foot.
Yeah, they go to the junkyard. They
Right.
see, they take out a couple Foot Clan, and they're even saying like,
But as they leave, they have to take on Toka and Razor too.
yeah, but
Well, yeah, they get strung up.
yeah, they get strung up by a net, and Shredder was going to drop them all on this thing of like
Spot.
sharp ass weapons that he had set
Right,
up,
right.
and just right before he could drop them, like Splinter made the save with a bow and arrow,
Right.
knocked him down. They're like, "That's right, Shredder, you forgot. We carry insurance. Yeah, mutual, Splinter, dude."
Right, and that's when they end up fighting the Foot, and then Toka and Razor come out.
Yeah, and it's like,
Boom,
yeah,
and they're pretty powerful.
yeah, Raphael tries to charge him. He's like, "Hey, you know what they say? The bigger they are." And he hits him and bounces off, and they're like, "Ooh, the more bones they break."
Right. Yeah, they proved too strong to defeat.
Yeah,
So they
throws Donatello up in the air through a roof where he discovers Jordan Perry.
right.
Undoes him. They're fighting until Michelangelo runs across a manhole cover, and he's like,
Yep, and they all go down there, and they take Perry with them.
yeah, and Toka tries to jump down there at him, and he gets like stuck, and Michelangelo's like tickling his feet, like, hey,
Yeah.
get you go.
So once they get back to their place, Perry explains that the creation of the ooze was an accident.
Yeah, which really pissed off. I remember that pissed off Donatello because he was like, I thought there'd be more to it. I thought we'd find out we were special. It's
Right.
like, no, you all were just happened to be a big mistake.
Right. And then it's at one point, the Shredder unleashes Toka and Razor into a nearby neighborhood to cause damage.
Yeah, he gets him out of a truck and he's like, go, play, have fun.
Yeah.
And they just start like destroying, like knocking down.
But didn't one of them say something like Master said have fun?
Yeah, they start destroying, like knocking down telephone poles, and they come up and they're like, Master says have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
it was funny, you see an old couple getting into a cab and
right.
Like, oh, Sophie, the animals are knocking down telephone poles. What do we do if they come over here?
Yeah, she's like,
let them get their own cab.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be, me, I'd be like, if I seen a bunch of creatures and tearing shit apart, yeah. I would probably get the hell out of there real fast.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why she's just like, yeah, let them get their own cab.
Right. So they end up tearing the whole city apart, and then you see that cop from the first film.
Yeah, the dickhead cop.
Yeah, he's back and talking about what went down and all that.
Yeah, and April tries to talk to him off the record. He's like, I have no off the record. Taking a record of that.
Yeah. And then the next day, Freddy sends a message to April.
Well, when the next day, it was like the next scene because she's
right. Well, according to Wikipedia, it says the next day.
Well, it wasn't the next day. If you go back, it was right after she talked. She went to her news van, and that's when Freddy grabbed her or the foot.
No. What I'm talking about is what I mean is when Toka and Razor they did their damage the next day. Freddy.
That was the thing with April.
The whole cop scene was that same day too. But Freddy, who's part of the Foot Clan, he sends April.
So like, our master has a message for you.
Right. Yeah, they're like, meet us here, so and so. Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this will be done again.
Yeah, she's like, they'll send Toka and Razor out again. This time in the Central Park.
Right. Like, if the Turtles don't meet the Foot Clan at a construction site.
Yeah. So that's what gives. And as they're gonna go fight them, Jordan Perry comes out. I was like, wait a minute. There might be a way. And
they end up making stuff
like an anti-mutagen.
Right.
And what's funny, while they're making it,
they put it into some donuts.
Yeah. Well, they come over and they're all smelling it, and the thing, they're like, "Oh, this is disgusting." Oh, and Michelangelo walks over with a piece of pizza in his hand, and drops a piece of pizza in the plate. He's like, "Oh!"
Right. And he tells the Turtles that it must be in.
He's like, what? Well, what? It's like, well, ingestion is the only course.
Yeah, Perry develops an antidote that has to be ingested. It has to be eaten for it to work.
Yeah, so they get the idea to solidify in ice cube trays, make cubes, and put them into like donuts.
Yeah, they try to use using donuts to trick.
It worked at first.
It worked. Yeah, they ate one of the donuts.
And then Razor kind of like even like gets something off. Like, wait, something's not right here.
Right.
And he crushes the donut.
Yeah, and they
But
get pissed.
the
I
whole
like
donut, the whole donut scene was funny as
yeah,
hell.
I was gonna say I like before then when they were eating the donuts and one of the turtles was like, "Oh yeah, little Drooly, are you?"
Yeah. He's like, oh, good boy, little Julie. It's,
Yeah,
oh, good boy.
yeah, that's funny as hell.
I'm talking about
I
even
like
when
how
they
he's like num nums. Yeah,
yeah. But when they first go to the construction site, they're like all like, he's like, do you think this is really gonna work? And Michelangelo's like, huh? Is Schwarzenegger hard to spell?
yeah. So yeah, they end up eating one of the donuts. They didn't eat the second. They end up, crunching the second donut and noticing the
Yeah,
thing
what
in
they
it.
called they called the donut. Leonardo called them something like wait when he was stopped. He's like, wait, first we must the ritual of the pre-fight donut.
Right, and they end up attacking the
Yeah, remember?
turtles.
Yeah, he grabs Michelangelo and swings him around and around.
Right.
He's like, and he gets thrown and he lands. He's like, oh, now I know what a postal package feels.
Yeah. And it says the one of the turtles, Raphael, gets thrown into a public dance club where Vanilla Ice
Yeah,
is
Vanilla
performing.
Ice.
Yeah, and then Vanilla Ice was dancing, and everybody's like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And then he starts singing that
Yeah,
song to go along with it.
dude. They all come in. They're all like fighting, and one guy
Right.
in the crowd is like, "Would you look at those costumes?
Yeah.
I love this place."
Yeah.
Like they all think it's part of the show. Like
Yeah.
even like it's funny how Vanilla Ice just came up with that song. Like
Off
how
the
the hell
hook.
could you come up with a song
I
like
mean,
that?
normally you wouldn't, but it's just a movie.
Yeah, it's
And it's funny how the club owner he considered calling the cops. He's like, I didn't order any extras. Call the cops.
He's like, yeah, when he's like, the cops comes, like, I got the cops, like, what are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, when he sees the customers are liking, enjoying it, he's like, no cops, get rid of it. And he's like on the phone, it's okay, they like it. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, like this shit just didn't make any fucking sense.
Right, right. But
So
eventually,
they fight, and they get the doctor tells them like, oh, their burping is stopping, the thing
right.
of them.
They had to use fire extinguishers to.
Yeah, they put their mouths and they like open wide,
Right.
say, ah.
After fighting them for a little bit, along with the foot, and then that's when Shredder appears in the club.
Yeah, well, I mean, before that, they take out the Foot Clan and they take out Tatsu.
Right. And then also, Splinter, he's like meditating with Kino.
Well, and Kino,
He's not having it for some reason.
yeah, he's like, we should be out there. It's like, you can't force me to stay here. He's
Right.
like, he runs up when Shredder's got the one girl on stage, like, he's like, in small doses through future mutants.
Right.
You have to get to us first, pal. The pleasure.
Right. Kino ends up kicking a big canister out of Shredder's hand.
Yeah, and Jordan Perry grabs it and runs off with it, but Shredder's still got like a little vial of ooze left.
And that's when the turtles break out some sort of music with
they turn the speakers like all the way up.
Right.
Like Max Mouse when he hits the beats, like pow!
Which sends his ass flying.
Yeah, and then they see Toka and Razor back to their normal like dog and snapping turtle deal, and they're like, and Michelangelo's like, hey, we can make a fortune in the diet racket.
Right,
like,
right.
Come on.
And then like I said, they end up Shredder gets end up like tossed by the music far to a dock. Right.
And they're like, oh, I guess that's pretty much a wrap.
Yeah.
Cowabunga. Cowabunga.
Yeah, but it's not because that motherfucker turned into a fucking super Shredder.
Yeah, he was played by
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, WCW, WWE, and actor Kevin Nash.
Yeah. Remember when he busts his hand through the thing, like, whoa!
Right.
Almost like expected Freddy Krueger's hand to come through there, almost in a way, like,
Right.
wow.
And he's like tearing the fucking dock apart big time.
Yeah, and they're even saying like, this thing can't take much more of this. Now with all that stuff on top.
Right.
And
One of the turtles tries to talk to him.
yeah, Leonardo, he tells them, he's like, Shredder, you gotta listen to reason. You're gonna destroy us all. And he picks him up and is like, so big.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's some good dialogue.
Yeah, he throws them, and he's still tearing it down, getting ready to bring it all down. They're like, Leonardo comes up forward and he's like, a ninja is a master of itself and his environment. So don't forget, we're turtles.
Yeah.
And he brings the whole thing down. You see him get fucking crushed, and
yeah, he gets crushed.
And the turtles pop up out of the water, like, and they're like, I've said it before, and I say it again. Man, I love being a turtle.
Yeah. And then like
too bad the Shredder can't say the same thing. and you see fucking Shredder's hand pop, and they're like, look! You're like, it can't be. Nobody could have survived that. And you see his hand like struggle, and it just, oh.
Right. And then it says, I believe it was the next day, a press release by April. She reads a note, thanking the turtles for...
Michelangelo,
right.
Donatello, and thanks for your help.
Right. And then when they return back home, Splinter orders the four of them to do 10 flips as a punishment.
He's like, were you seen? No, Master. The art of invisibility hit, and he holds up the thing with the saying Ninja Rap is born. And he's like,
newspaper.
10 flips now.
Yeah.
And remember, go Ninja, go! Yeah. Wow! It's like, I made another funny.
Yeah. And that's where the movie ends. It's a short movie. It's only 88 minutes.
Yeah, but still, dude.
It's really good.
Yeah, like it was such a great movie. Like,
right.
I hadn't seen it in years.
Yeah.
But I have the 4-pack of the Turtles movies, and I just, like, the other day, I know we were going to be doing this review.
Yeah, so, I also watched it too.
Yeah. I went back, and it's just like, man, like, you go back and you watch an old school movie like that.
It's awesome. And, it's funny. It's an interesting casting. I mean, you got Ernie Rice Jr., Kevin Nash, Vanilla Ice, Michael Jai White, and David Warner. It's like, that's interesting.
What was interesting, though, in the second movie, we didn't get Casey Jones in the second movie.
He was out in the second, unfortunately, but he did come back for the third.
Yeah, it's funny. He was in the first and third, but he wasn't in the second one. Like,
right.
But that was kind of interesting, and the fact that like like how Shredder survived, because if you watch in the first one, he's thrown in the back of a garbage truck, and you see Casey brings it down to where apparently he's getting crushed.
Right. So, okay, let me go over a few things that went on behind the scenes.
Okay.
The production. It says Corey Feldman did not voice Donatello in the second movie because it says something here, after pleading no contest to a drug possession charge in December of 1990. So they didn't have him come back because of that.
Yeah.
And then it says cast as April O'Neil. The original, I think what's the original girl's name? Paige?
No, the original one was Judith Hogue.
Oh, okay. Judith Hogue. It says Paige, she got the role from Judith from the first film. Let's see here. According to Judith, she was not approached to reprise the role because the producers thought she complained too much during the first movie. Wow.
Yeah, it sucks too, because to me, she was actually a better April O'Neil in a
Right.
way.
I mean, the second girl was cool and all, but yeah, I would have preferred the original.
Yeah. Because I mean, she
Says
kind of like when you see her in the first one, she kind of had more of like, in a way, like a spunk to her more than Paige had.
right. So that is pretty interesting. That
Yeah, neither Corey Feldman or Judas Hogue came back in the second
right.
one.
So yeah, that's a few things that went on behind the scenes. Casey Jones did not appear in the second film, but did return in the third.
Yeah. He returned in the third one playing two different characters. he played his Casey Jones character, and he played the guy when they went back in time that looked just like him.
What do you mean?
Remember in Turtles in Time when they went back in time, there was April ran across one of the bad guys that looked just like Casey Jones. That was
okay.
Remember that?
Not offhand. I haven't seen Turtles 3 in a long time.
Well, she looks at they're both in a cage. She's looking at him. She's like, Casey?
Oh, okay.
The guy's looking at her like, who the fuck's Casey?
Yeah. But yeah, it's all in all a really good film. Good casting, and I know back then Vanilla Ice he was blown up big time in the early '90s, so I could see why they
chose for that. But I still just think it was just so funny how he just made it seem like he just came up with that song, just like who would do that? You see this brawl of these like creatures and stuff fighting. They're like, okay, let's all just start a song here. Like, yo, it's the Green Machine. We're gonna rock the town without being seen.
Right. I mean, it is some interesting writing, that's for sure. Because I probably wouldn't have thought to write like that,
Yeah, it's like they made it to seem like that Vanilla Ice could just like, oh man, we just came up with this song at a drop of a hat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but he was blown up back then. He had that one album that came out in the early '90s that was pretty damn big. Yeah, it was big back then. I remember that. I remember a lot of people buying that on cassette tape.
Yeah, I remember listening to Vanilla Ice. I remember listening to MC Hammer.
Right. Which is so it's kind of cool that they put in all this mixture of people in this movie that you would never normally would see. So Michael Jai White went on to doing a whole bunch of movies, and he still does movies.
Yeah. I'd say another funny thing about Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze, the person who voiced Raphael, from what I learned, was a woman.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, named somebody called Lori Faso.
Yeah, it's like obviously Lori is a you would think that'd be a girl's name.
Right. Interesting.
But then again, look, I mean, hell, a girl voiced Bart Simpson.
That's true.
It's like, like you listen to Bart Simpson, you would never think that's a girl voicing him.
And I think that the voice of Leonardo is done by a guy named Brian Tachi, isn't he?
Yeah, he was in movies.
Wasn't he the Police Academy movies?
Yep.
Hell yeah. That's right. He was in Police Academy 3, Police Academy 4.
Yeah.
And he did the voice for all 3 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, there was a couple he voiced Leonardo throughout the whole thing. Like even
That's wild.
Person by the name of Robbie Wrist, he was the same voice for Michelangelo in all 3 films.
And he was in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
This has to be the most oddball cast I've ever seen in my life when it comes to a movie that you would never imagine. And Ernie Rice Jr., he had that television show in the 80s.
Yeah, when he was a kid.
Right, and he was in Red Sonja with Arnold.
Yeah.
He wasn't in a whole lot of movies. He played a very small part in Rush Hour 2. He had a cool part in The Rundown.
Yeah.
You know,
Also, in the end credits of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze, when they talk about like stunt doubles,
yeah.
when they get Ernie Rise, they said Ernie Rise Jr. performed all his own fight scenes and stunts.
Right. Well, plus he was the stunt double for Donatello in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was in that outfit.
Yeah.
So,
They said that all his fight scenes and stuff in the part two.
right, he
That
done.
was
Of
all
course,
him.
because he can do that.
Yeah.
You know.
He
Plus, he
probably
did a
had
movie
to.
called Surf Ninjas, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I never, you know what, I've seen previews of that movie. That was one movie I never really sat down and truly
Yeah,
watched.
I thought it was pretty cool for what it was. You
Yeah,
know. But yeah, he had this TV show. What was it called? Sidekicks. Yeah, Sidekicks, and this came out in the from
yeah,
September '86 to '87.
yeah. Because I remember him. Because I remember watching that. I remember he was just a kid, and there was one particular episode I recall where he was climbing a building with
Damn.
no sticky, nothing to really catch you, just using his fingertips in between the bricks and I remember thinking like, there's no way he could climb like that. Like nobody could climb like that.
Right. Well, that's all in the movies and TV shows.
Oh yeah,
That stuff happens.
but
But all in all, this is a really good movie. You know,
yeah,
and
I
when I
mean,
watched
yeah,
it, when I watched it again. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but
yeah, same here.
when I watched it, it's like wow, it brought back some memories and stuff. Because
Oh
I'll tell you something that happened when I seen it at theaters.
yeah,
I remember going into theaters to see this, but I accidentally went into the wrong one, and
yeah,
I caught like the tail end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and I noticed after like 10 minutes the credits were rolling. I went, wait a minute, what's going on? I just picked up a ticket to see this from the beginning, not the end. So I had to go out and talk to one of the ladies that worked there, the popcorn lady. She says, "Oh, you went into the wrong one. You got to go to this one." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I caught the tail end of one of the at the wrong one of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I went
yeah,
in to actually go to the right one, and I missed I think the first 10-15 minutes of it, which is fine.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you missed the best part because that was
no, I
like I
know.
said to me, the scene when they were battling all those guys in that.
Right. Oh, you know what? I don't think I did miss it because I think my show was starting a little later. Plus, when the show start, they usually run about 10 minutes worth of
Yeah,
previews.
that's what's. I remember going to movie theaters back in the day. That's what I hated because like
Oh, I
it tell
like
you
that.
like, oh, the movie would start at 8 and you sit down and
It
like you said you got to watch 10 minutes of
worth of
fucking
previews,
movie.
but you got to realize back then we didn't have YouTube or none of that shit to where you could just watch what you wanted when you wanted. You
Yeah,
know, this was back when you could only see trailers on TV during
yeah,
commercial breaks, or when you go out in the theaters,
yeah,
they'll preview a bunch of them. You know,
yeah.
so yeah, it was a bit different. I don't know how it is now because I haven't been to the theaters in a long time.
I haven't either.
But
I
yeah,
just
that was a cool time. And didn't you also see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 at the theaters?
I seen two or I can't remember if I seen 2 or 3. I don't know if
I know
I'm
I
not.
saw 1 and 2. I don't recall if I saw 3.
When did 2 come out again?
1991,
Yeah, what time frame?
March.
Okay, then it was Turtles 2 I went and seen at the theater because yeah, in 91 I remember being around. We went to the theater at one point and seen Turtles movie. I always thought for some reason it was 3, but
Now
no, it
3
had
was
to
a
be
few
2.
years later.
Yeah, it had to have been 2, but it was funny. Like, there's just so many cool. Like, it had its funny parts. It had its um, serious parts, and it just was really cool. Like that, like the dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Some of the dialogue was just funny. Like there's a part where um, April's at her office in an argument with her manager, and this guy gets a call. He's like, "Hey, April, there's a call for you." They tell him I'll call them back. They sounds pretty insistent. Says his name's Donnie, and she like runs to her office, and the manager's like, "You can tell Donnie that she's busy with her news manager right now. That she can't."
Right. She gets up.
Yeah, she gets on the phone with Donnie, and
he tells her that they found a new place.
We'll bring you by. It's like we only had time to get Splinter and pick up a few essentials. And Michelangelo's like, "Yeah, the bear essentials." That part was funny.
Yeah.
And the part where he keeps begging Donnie for the phone. He's like,
right.
Give me the phone. Give me the phone. I want to talk to April. It's really important. He's like, all right, here. He's like, yeah, April, it's Mikey. I just like to say hello.
Yeah, right. And there's another scene with Michelangelo where they're like, yeah, it's a little too quiet, and there's like, there's Raph, and he's like, yeah, a little too Raph. It's like,
dude, Michelangelo was my total favorite.
Yeah, I mean, he was great in that film.
Dialogue, his goofiness is just awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty.
It's like when they're in the construction site getting ready to fight Toka and Razor, and then all the foot soldiers just show up, they see Shredder, and they're like, whoa, all we need now is Wide World of Sports and a blimp.
Yeah.
Like,
they definitely gave Michelangelo some good dialogue.
They did.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, like every part you saw him in, he was just like, he always had something like that made you laugh. Like even when they bring Jordan Perry down to their tunnel thing for the first time, he's like, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you the tour later. Right now we have a few questions. Yeah, a few inquiries. And Michelangelo runs up like, yeah, a few we'll give you the tour later.
Yeah. And, also when he's tickling the feet of Toka when he couldn't get through the damn hole there. He's like, oh, look at here. Yeah. So yeah, he was the comedian,
Oh, yeah. Even with, like we were talking about during the fight scene in the mall where he's like, he grabs this, he's fighting a guy and he gets knocked over the thing. He's like, the missing link.
Yeah.
You want a pickle? I'll give you a pickle. He's
like, yeah, that was in the beginning fight scene.
Yeah, he's like, combat cold cuts. Whoa.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And next time I'll use mustard.
Yeah. I highly recommend, if you haven't seen the original films, definitely watch them, because they hold up good. And you get a good variety of cool things in this movie. Like I said,
us growing up as kids, we had, they had the cartoon out at first, growing up.
Right.
Then, we got the first movie, which was really awesome.
Yeah, that cartoon was awesome, and it kind of blew up from there. You got cartoon, you got the comic books, video games, movies.
Remember the toys?
That too, yeah. I used to have some of the toys.
I had them all.
I remember even when you like bought a box of cereal, you can, if you get enough like coupons on the back, you can get one of the Turtles figures. You could send away for one, And I thought that was really cool. I was actually trying to do that back then. I said, well, I every time I had cereal, like, I want this type of cereal. I think it was Fruity Pebbles. And on the back of the box, it says if you collect so many or something, you can send away for one of the Turtles, which is awesome. I don't think they do anything like that nowadays.
No, I know one thing, man. I would love to have bowl of Fruity Pebbles does sound good.
Yeah.
I ain't had Fruity Pebbles or really any kind of cereal
Yeah.
in like years.
Yeah, I hear me neither. But yeah, it was cool that they did that back then, where you could send away for. So they did that also with like GI Joe on the back of the
Yeah.
box. You can cereal box. You can, if you saved up enough, whatever those things were called,
Little coupon deals
coupon
on the
deals,
back.
right?
Yeah, you have to cut them out.
Cut them out, and then I think you had to send them also like a money order for a certain amount of money for shipping and all that to get it. But yeah, that was pretty cool, and they had all kinds of cool, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures, even the
Yeah,
the
you know
bus.
what? I'll tell you the one thing that the people they didn't have in any of the original Turtle movies, they didn't bring him into the newer movies, was Rocksteady and Bebop.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
They didn't bring them in, but they were in the cartoons, and you could get the figures and stuff.
Yeah, I remember having like a lot of the figures. I know I had like all the Turtles. I had Rocksteady and Bebop.
Right.
I think I might have had what the fuck was the name of that brain guy?
I know who you're talking about.
Crane or Crane or I think
it was Crane. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I even had his body deal that they put him in. It's like I have a body.
Right. That was cool back then. To have all that stuff.
Dude, that was the best time of growing up as kids, man. We had, fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle era was badass.
Did you?
Like, cartoons. You had the movies.
Right. Did you also have their van?
The van? Oh
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah. That was prety cool too. They have the turtles and their van, and then.
Yeah, you had the door that could like swing down when the turtles would come in with wearing on the one part like cowabunga.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty big back then. Like I said, you had not only did you have the cartoon, but you had comic books, you had figures, you had the video games. Remember the NES video game that was ridiculously hard?
Yeah, dude, the fucking Nintendo game was so fucking hard.
Yeah, especially when he's down there swimming.
The underwater swimming, undoing the bombs.
Right.
No matter how many times I played that, how good I was at that, I could not beat that fucking board.
I mean, I could only get so far in that game.
Yeah, I can make it down to like the last one or two bombs because you didn't have to just underwater, but remember you had those like electric things that you hit and fucking killed you.
Yeah, that too. It just the Nintendo a lot of their games were really hard. Hard to beat.
Yeah.
And that was definitely one of them. But yeah, they came out with a lot of great games, though.
They came out with a lot of good shit for the Turtles.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Like,
they made more cartoon series, even after the 80s and stuff. And they even had a animated movie, what was it, Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I picked that up on Blu-ray, which is really good. And I would love to see more animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films.
Yeah.
They did one years ago. You said you had the 4-pack, which has the 3 movies plus that animated movie.
Yeah, TMNT, which I remember actually going and seeing that at the theater. Like,
right.
And it was funny. It wasn't a weekend like deal. It was like during the weekday. I had the day off work, and this movie theater played movies during the week, and I was like,
right.
Fuck it, I'm gonna go and watch TMNT.
So what'd you think of it?
I really thought it was cool. Like,
yeah, it was pretty good.
Like, it was different because being CGI and that stuff, but it was totally freaking cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, whatever they do with the Turtles, it always ends up being, I think, pretty good.
Yeah.
I love the old, except for the newer movies. I would say they're all.
I hate them.
I think they're all right for what they are, but they definitely don't hold up to the originals.
No, because here's the thing, like, growing up and watching the Turtles, you always seen them in, how they they always had that same look throughout the years.
Right.
And now in this one, they changed how they looked, and to me, they don't even look like turtles. They look like fucking aliens.
Right. So yeah, it's a bit different. And they were like CGI, whereas in the originals they were in costumes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit different. But all in all, I mean, they're all right for what they are. It's just
they were cool, but it was nothing like the original movies.
Right. Like, the originals, yeah, you can't touch the originals.
No, you can't. And you can't be.
Especially the first film.
Yeah. Yeah, if you notice, like in the first film was way more seriously toned, like the fight scenes. Like they were more.
Right, it was more grounded. Like, they had comedy in it, of course. Because there's turtles. It's supposed to be about comedy, But the second one was a little bit more comedy.
But Michelangelo, man, he was the funniest comedy part of that deal, especially into like his dialogue.
Right. I mean, they gave him that. Yeah,
there was a part with Michelangelo in part 3 that was so funny where they're getting ready to transport back in time and they're like looking for Michelangelo, and they see him in a room with shorts on, and like Hawaiian shorts on. He's like doing like a Hawaiian dance. He's like, no, 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 no. And they're like, Mikey. It's like, don't. It's like, why are you wearing shorts? Well, Kenshin switched with April and got her clothes. So this is for whoever comes through in my place, so they won't arrive bare butt naked. They say, I got 3 more pairs.
Heck yeah. But anyways, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. This one out good length. Yeah. But all in all, what do you give this 1 out of 10?
Oh, definitely a 10, man.
Yeah. I would definitely give it like an 8, 8.5, something like that. Maybe even a 9, just because it's just so good.
I would say the only thing is, if you're going to watch that movie, to people who are going to watch it, have you a piece of pizza at least for the.
Oh yeah, I would say that should be a tradition. Anytime you watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, you should actually have pizza there.
Like if not, you watch that beginning and you're just gonna fucking crave a piece of pizza.
Yeah, you're gonna want pizza for sure.
You know what, dude? The first time I ever watched, I don't know if it was the first time I watched it, but I do know one of the times I watched it. I remember watching it when I was hungry and watching that beginning of them all eating.
It just made it worse.
Oh, I want a piece of that too.
Yeah. Yeah, big time. That's gonna make you want pizza big time. So definitely order a pizza when you watch that film. It should be a tradition for everybody.
Yeah, and because like I said, if you're not, you're definitely gonna be craving pizza after you watch the beginning of that movie, because there's just so much pizza at the beginning.
Heck yeah.
I mean, it's like they show a whole group of people walking down the street and everybody's just eating fucking pizza.
Yeah. I'm like everybody, even the cops.
Yeah, the cops are eating a piece of pizza. A taxi driver's eating a piece of pizza. Even they showed a couple out on a date.
Oh, yeah, right.
And they step back and take a bite of pizza.
Right. I'm like, wow, okay.
that was off the wall right there. Like, first of all, wait a minute. You're out on a date. You're all dressed up. You're drinking wine. Why the fuck are you eating pizza?
Right. They're out on a dinner date.
Yeah, you're out on a dinner date and you're eating fucking pizza.
Yeah, well, that's movies for you, but that's pretty funny.
That is funny. Like, you see them kissing, and they just they step back and they just pull out a piece of pizza and start eating it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. If you haven't seen it, like I said, go check it out. But you got to watch the first one before you see the second one.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, if you ain't seen the first one, I recommend watching the first one.
Then the second one.
In order. First one, second one, third one.
Right, exactly. You know, that's old school awesomeness right there at its best.
Old school, baby.
All right. Well, so with that being said, we're gonna wrap this podcast, or not podcast, review up.
Yeah.
And
I think I'm gonna go ahead and go get me some pizza, because I was talking about pizza now. I'm getting me fucking hungry.
All this talk about pizza, I think it's time to get some pizza.
Hell yeah. Yo, Domino's, where you at?
Give me some pizza. So anyways, thanks for watching. We are out of here, and we hope you guys have a kick-ass day, night, whenever you're watching this, and peace.